Are we live? Oh, I think. Okay. Are we live? Okay. I think so. Alright, I'm going to take a look at the stream quality really quick. I made some changes to my settings. So, let me see. Streaming at 1080p, 60 FPS. Yeah, yikes, that does not look too great. I'm kind of looking at some of the details. Man, that does not look too great, does it? Okay. Maybe it's the streaming at 60 FPS that is really kind of killing it. Am I excited for the Crew-1 launch? Hey, Tyler. Well, the stream quality isn't... I've been messing with some of the stream quality settings that I don't know... Well, I think we're just going to have to live with it. Let me see how a notepad looks like today. I'm thinking about to reduce it from 60 FPS down to 30. The text looks fine. And the Crew-1, that's SpaceX, if I believe, right? Looks like crystal in your end. Okay. I think when I move around, it starts to look really, really bad. The text looks good. But like when I move around the camera, I guess which is normal on YouTube, it just looks so bad. Let me just triple check that. Yeah, it's... You know, it's going to be good enough for right now. Okay. It's going to launch in 2 hours. Astrocat, huh. That's pretty cool. I did not even know that. Well, I got a lot more busier today than I wanted to, and I just sat down. So I'm going to... Oh my goodness. Alright, try to catch back up with this. Wow, okay. Let's just launch into it because I think I'm doing some logistics system test. And I haven't really looked at Dissension code for a while, so this is going to be really painful. This mission is so complicated that if you put it down for too long and come back to it, then it's like reading ancient texts. Good chores, yes. Lots of chores, dealing with issues, yeah. I had a couple work calls. And that's one downside of my job. They're just kind of always on the clock sometimes, depending on what people need. So... Well, that's right, the interact menu doesn't work in this. Let me restart one more time. I'll have to worry about that later. That's not what I'm focusing on. I want to see if I can get the logistics, so essentially a logistics vehicle that drives from town to town and picks up things. If you want me to do it for you. Yes, Tyler, you can do it for me. I hope that mission went well. That area is too familiar. Yeah, that happens when I try to open up my interaction menu, which I need to update anyway. It's part of this little system here where you can just open and close doors. It's your mouse wheel. Oh, there goes the building though. Okay, so what I want to do is go ahead and give the commander lots of money. And then I need the commander to take some towns here. And then this little trade cargo here at the bottom says 0 times needs to... I need to have at least 1 for each town. I need to capture... Oh, that's so nice. That was really cool. I was the oil... Man, I'm so disappointed. I've never done like an oil rig mission in ArmA. I was actually looking forward to that. That is a shame. It's definitely a shame. – 'Alright, let's... 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 ' So I'm kind of trying to catch back up here. What I'm looking at is spawn logistics. So this is the thing I need to look at here. So when we spawn logistics, I'm going to run this code here. And I need to kind of break it down again. Let me run this code so I can see where all the... Why are we not making... Oh, no, there is a group there. Okay. I'm going to run this code so I can see where all the resistance squads are. But let's run it in this menu so I can do that. We'll rename this to show resistance. And we'll star that code. So now, if I look at the map, yeah, you can see these markers now. And these markers are just debug markers, so there won't be any movement, but I can see that in every town there's some resistance forces occupied in there. And now Blue 4 is engaging that squad. And they're firing off in the distance. Perfect. And of course everything here is all debuggy, so the commander is like spawning in buildings really fast. So we have our heavy factory already, our supply cache, our barracks, our HQ, and our light factory, which are all just placeholder structures right now, as you can see. Are they still fighting over there? Wow, they sure are. Yeah, okay. Well, this is going to need some work. So I should get in here and capture this. Oh, they're fighting this squad over here now. Okay, they capture that town. Yeah, I think I said I would like to make a mission in the future. I don't know how that works. If I just make a mission, I don't know if it's in line with the campaign or not. I'd have to talk to you guys about that, how that works. Okay, here's a reinforcement squad. This is a weird bug. Okay, so this one unit's going to go reinforce. And he did. This town has like a bugged pathing over here. It's really weird. Okay, so they're going to head to that town. Okay, so we already have a supply depot, supply cashier. Okay, so let's get rid of this. I'm trash at scripting. Well, scripting, it's like speaking a different language. It just takes so much practice. Alright, so what I want to do, I want to see what this total array is that I pass over. So what I need to wait for is at least, I think these two towns will be enough to test. So let's go ahead and execute this code. Oops. And that should have... Get this over here. So what is this that I'm looking at? So this is all the towns that I need to stop by. Oh. To pick up resources. Now here's a weird thing. Gorilla, lava shell, aerodome. Did I do something wrong here? For each... Oh, I see. This is it for each one. So let's... change this up to... We just want to do the blue 4 here. Yes. An action code you got, if server in a remote exec, that target is 2, which I'm, yeah. So if the target is 2, that means it goes to the server. Yep, so only the server is executing it. A start of 5 or digits make over training missions for units. Hey, it's all about having fun. Aristocat. As long as you're having fun. That's what matters. That's how I got into ArmA initially, coding, is I just was trying to have fun. Okay, so the squad is still moving around, killing and taking. Of course, this is all very sped up for testing purposes, so you see there's a lot of trade cargo in these already. Piled up. Okay, so now we have a new supply cache in here and trade cargo there. So if I rerun this command, what this command is doing is pulling all the places that have trade cargo that I can, well, that I can go collect. I need this to have 2, not 1 but 2, so I need to wait 1 more tick. 6 is 2. That's a good idea. I think you've been working a lot on some training missions, Tyler. Okay, this squad got hurt, but I think they have to wait 10 minutes before they can get rearmed again. So let's go ahead and... Okay, that's got 2 now, so if I... Yep, okay. Port Boise, so that's a weird glitch. Boise. Alright, so what we have here is, well, the list that we need to go pick up resources in. So this, every 4 ticks, this checks to see if it needs to send vehicles out to pick up resources. Then this script runs, which this script looks like it's working just fine. Current owner 1 resource, yeah, okay, and then it goes into spawn virtual group here. And then, so spawn virtual group, and we have resource convoy. One of the things that we pass through to it are the extra data is what we pass through to it, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes, extra data we pass through. We do it for each extra data. Okay. So the extra data would be, for example, this. Okay. I'm here after watching videos on Interstellar Marines, which is early access since 2013, and dev team is dead. Aww. Open world, that's cool. Here to watch progress being made on things to brighten my mood. I'm so sorry, Victor. I know that feeling, man. You know a game you could be excited for, Victor. I know this is everyone's favorite game. I'm gonna pull it up right now because I know we're gonna do like just a real short stop here. Listen. This is a game that everyone should buy when it comes out. And I know you guys are probably going to laugh at this. This right here is my favorite game ever. It's finally coming to Steam. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dwarf Fortress, but this game is just the best game. It's got no multiplayer, so I guess that's debatable. But you know what? We're not debating here. You know what? I'm just going to say it's the best game ever. That's the game you should get. A lot of scripting, but then my unit changed them. Ah, yeah. Yep, that's a pain. Mods, man. I don't like mods. I like a few mods on ArmA, but I don't like a lot. Let me not get distracted here. He's a Dwarf Fortress dev. I wish, man. Hey, Casey. ArmA 3. I wish I was a Dwarf Fortress dev. Alright, that game is just... I love to play that game. Okay, anyway, I should probably focus on what I'm doing here. So D equal DA. Flagpole equals... Man, what is this? This isn't making any sense at all. It's the flagpole. We get the flagpole equals vehicle... Oh, this is vehicle data. Okay, vehicle data. So we get the flagpole, we have the owner, we have the resources that are in that the town gives. We have the trade resources, which is 2. That's the multiplier. We have the name. And then it goes on forever like that. Okay. So from 1 to amount to spawn due. So we always want to have one of the trade vehicles. So this is set up like this. So you can have initially when you spawn in logistic vehicles. What is this squad doing? Why are they wandering around in the objectives? Oh, there are some other groups to go fight maybe. What are you guys doing? I don't know why they're wandering around. I'm going to have to work on that later. So the idea is when you initially have logistics vehicles, they're not protected, and they kind of run back and forth because every unit costs money. So the idea is going to be that once they start getting hit, then they start really reinforcing the the cargo vehicles a lot more with like other units to protect them. So, but they always have at least one cargo vehicle. And so that's why there's 2 spawns here to see if do we need to protect them more or we just run them bare bones. So the broadcast message. So we have vehicle data. So this right now. Wait. Oh, is this really? Is this really sending this out? No, this is okay. Yeah, the 1 vehicle for 3. So one cargo vehicle can visit up to 4, I think. Yeah, or 5. You can visit 5 locations. Okay, since we only have 3, so we only need 1 vehicle, transport vehicle. Okay. What are these guys doing? Oh, they're fighting over here now. Why aren't you capping this territory? It's because there's too many guys nearby. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, our fortress is real nice. Okay, let's. And I'm just trying to relearn like where I stepped off. So I'm trying to see because I know the system isn't working yet. So I have to figure out what I'm doing wrong. So essentially, we take the new light vehicle squad. We create the logic. Create the units, we spawn the units in, and then we pass that over to this FSM handler. Right. Then we execute FSM. So we have the side here, true west, the vehicle squad, which is the logic, and the logic has this information set about it. And it's a resource vehicle. And then we have a set variable here, transfer vehicle. Okay, I think this should actually be reversed. This needs to be set up here. Let's transport vehicles, vehicle DA, execute sim. This is the vehicle information. Okay, and then we do resource vehicle, and then we do execute AI orders.fsm. Okay, so let's go look at the unit FSM, which is a little bit more interesting to look at. I don't have music playing. I feel like I should have some music. Yeah, it's way too quiet. Some music. No, not that. Let's do the good tried and true method here. Yeah, that's good. Daniel Phillips would notice me. Notice me, senpai. Hearts Iron 4, yeah, I can see that. A lot of frontline stuff. I just want his coding attention. You don't get it, Daniel. I'm sorry. What is this picture? Get out of here. Alright. I'm looking at something real quick. Alrighty. So let's see. This is the first time I actually have had time to sit down and code. I'm kind of being a loner right now because I don't want to get distracted either. So I'm not in a Discord or anything. This is a little loud, isn't it? How about that? Coming to Twitch. I have never really streamed on Twitch. YouTube was just so easy. I don't know if it's like Do people prefer Twitch over YouTube? I'm really disconnected when it comes to that kind of stuff. I really don't know. I just said YouTube because it was convenient for me. It is I. Bravo. You're. Well, thank you. Bravo. You're. Oh my gosh. You guys are ridiculous. You guys should all be in bed. Well, I guess it's not that late yet, but for you. Okay. Hold on. Resource vehicle. So the vehicle gets spawned in here. And then, okay, so we need to pull that data. So new vehicle, transport vehicle, vehicle DA. We need to pull this information. Yeah. So we need to pull this information. So if, boom, 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 boom. Let's see, let's do vehicle setup. Logistic data, and we'll have it be an empty array, but then when we go into here, we'll do score logistic data equals start logic, get variable, bam. That should pull it in. Okay. And we can even put in this in here for reference. So bam. Okay, I feel like I'm starting to get back into it. What program do you use to make the flowcharts? This is Bohemia's FSM editor. It's old as dirt. Yeah, started from back in 2005. It's been improved a little bit here and there, but this is what you use to create finite state machine systems. And most video games use finite state machine systems for their AI. They are really easy ways to create like a logic tree. So this logic tree handles dynamic AI stuff. Like VCOM AI uses a finite state machine system that give the perception of some kind of intelligence. So it's a whole bunch of ifs and buts and things like that that you set up. So this handles everything in here. So this is what makes the AI very dynamic, and it can make it look like they can think on their own to some extent because of this. Yes, finite state machine systems, yeah. And it's yeah, that's pretty much what they stand for. So how much, I haven't watched closely what's going on, so how much, for the lack of a better word, back in submission doing right now. So the reason why I remade Dissension completely is because it would have issues just because of how old ArmA's engine is. Oh, they captured this big town before they captured this one. What is going on here? What are you guys doing? Is that bugged? I wonder if that's bugged. Let's take a look at that later. We're already building structures in the place, though. Look at this. Oh my gosh. So the reason why I started Dissension is ArmA's engine is really old, and when you have a lot going on a big map, it kind of grinds to a halt. It's okay, that's pretty good to know. And so what can happen is you have like fights going on this front, you can have fights over here and over here. Even if the fights are relatively small, everyone's frame rate will tank. It's really important for me to allow Dissension to be as big as it can be while still keeping people's frame rate at a decent level. It's not going to be perfect. And so what I did is before Dissension, the old Dissension, like all the units are always spawned in, and then I decide which to virtualize after that, which creates a really clunky process, and it's not as good. And so right now, there is no actual physical units. The combat you hear, like units actually fighting each other, that's all virtual. And then the units are going to all be virtual first and then physical second. So they're only going to be present when there's players nearby, and even that will be limited. And so it'll be a lot of very dynamic systems. So you can have a squad of, say, 50 units or something like that, or like 10 squads all around here, and there's only a limit to how many can spawn at a time. So instead of seeing 100 units at once, you'll see maybe 20 units at once, and then as soon as you kill one unit, another one is going to spawn instantly somewhere else and run to the front line to create the resemblance of a big battle. So it's going to be focused a lot more on performance. Yeah, someone suggested that I reach out to the guy who made lambs and try to work together on it, but I haven't even I've worked with a couple people and it's never ended well. Well, there was a gentleman I worked with who was very nice, but he tried to help me with VCOM. The last update of VCOM, actually essentially had to kick him out because he was turning VCOM into something that wasn't, and also didn't run really well at all either, so it wasn't great. Okay, anyway. So we need to test these vehicles spawning in, so we get these, we pull this data. I'm gonna have to restart to do this, that sucks. Okay, that's okay. So, well, the one downside of finite state machines is you can't edit them on the fly. You can't recompile them in the mission, so that does suck. But let's take a look here. Let's take a look. I just can't wait for that update to come out with the actual commands that I want for the AI, and they can probably do some fun stuff. And so we need to get them to go to this point here. Okay. So, logistic data. Let's go to resource vehicle. Then we're going to change this up a little bit. Movement info is going to... Okay, yeah, go to pause is going to be logistic data, select 0. It's going to be, oh, get pause, logistic data, select 0, select 0. Let's just make sure this part doesn't need brackets, but we'll do this. B-Combat was a good one, yes, I remember that one. There's a lot of good mods out there. VCOM is just one, and then they all have different styles, which I loved. There's a lot of AI mods out there. Because VCOM is made in a way to just make it more fun for players, and a lot more like it is not necessarily to just destroy the players or to be the most realistic. I do want to add a little bit more of some better maneuvering and things like that, but oh, let's do this. Let's see, first point data. Okay, I see what I was doing. So I was doing something like this. So you have the flagpole, the owner, the resources, the trader, source name. Okay. So we do the get pause flagpole. We have the logic. Where am I pulling that logic from? Oh, right here. Excuse me. And there's the speed and the side. Move caches resource, object null, light. Okay, so let's look at this movement here. So then we go to this script, all these functions. And so we were passing over the move to, which is the position we're going to. We're going to the logic, current pause, yep, or speed here. The side will be west, the special is resource. So that's right here, it looks like, after we're done moving. Interesting. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. That's after we're done moving. Okay, so let's mark that. And then object null, what is that? That's the final town logic. That must be for something special. Okay. Man, did I write this? I don't remember writing this. That's okay. Here's the type. Alright. So the type is light, yeah. So that's the pathing. Okay. And we have extra data here. So we need to pass the extra data through, which we're going to pass logistic data. Is that what I called it? Let me just confirm. Yep. Yep. Okay, so we need to pass that through. I don't know how I have this set up like this. Why is this set up like this? I thought I was probably going to change it up a little bit, but let's pass logistic data through. And what we're going to do is take this, put this under the action tab. We're going to delete these, and bam. Okay. Hello, Matt. Thank you. It's a good one, and for I think no limits on most things. Can't be sure what is starts lagging. Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. Listen, man, you've seen some shit when you code for ArmA, especially ArmA. I remember before they fixed a lot of the bugs, like a lot of their commands were just spelled incorrectly because they would translate it to English, and so they didn't know how to spell a lot of the words, and it was awful when you type in a command and you wouldn't know why it was working because, well, you spelled it correctly, but Bohemia spelled it wrong, and so therefore, now it just doesn't work. Okay. So with that, extra data. So after they stop, I have waypoint, get variable, params. Yeah, okay, I want to change this. So, extra data delete at 0. And what we're going to do oh, wait a second. Yeah, for right now we're just gonna make sure they can move around. I'm gonna deal with the resource stuff later. Let's just make sure they can move. Yeah, that's true. Square one for it. I'm gonna be really surprised. I would not be surprised for Bohemia's sake if they kept the language pretty similar or close to the exact. I should say I would not be surprised if they kept SQF for some reason. I don't know. We'll see. ArmA 4 won't come out for many years. Because, that would take work. And, well, we know Bohemia's stance on actual work. For ArmA, that is. Some handler. Let's get logic. I can't wait for me to upset someone from Bohemia. It's the same level as Portal 3. It's been a long time. I mean, like, usually by now we would have had a release. And so ArmA 3 is definitely aging, which I think is okay. There's something to be said about old games that just don't get touched for a while. But I'm actually excited for, once they release those new commands, for Bohemia just to stop touching the game, to let mods really develop and really get get really good. Because there's still a lot of little unique things about the engine that just people just don't really know that well, and okay. So then once it reaches its point, and we need it to tell it to move to the next point. So let's do that, where then we need to tell it what it needs to. It needs to, well, get a new order now. Alright, I need to restart. Let's see how this blows up gloriously. I'm not sure why this isn't getting capped. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So dark build. So ArmA, it's kind of representation. The problem with DayZ is that they've rushed it, and so it's not the engine itself. They kind of gimped because they. How do I? All right, here we go. We're opening up paint. This is my understanding. This is what I was told. So take it with a grain of salt. And so you have this wonderful engine that you can play in. And then what they did is in a rush is they took a lot of things from ArmA 3 called like modules, and they made a lot of the game. They said, okay, we're going to have to code within these modules, and so they limited themselves to this corner of the engine. And then so DayZ is like being made, or was being made mostly in here, in a very limited space because of the way they implemented it. So it's not necessarily 100% accurate representation of what the engine looks like. I think the engine's actually more powerful than what you see in DayZ. It's just that the way they coded it, you're only seeing a fraction of the strength of what it can do. And so I think that's the only issue with using DayZ to compare necessarily. Oh yeah, Tyler got it down. Yeah, he said it right there. It doesn't have client-side driving. That is really odd. That's a really, really odd decision. That is so weird. No activities. I remember playing DayZ when it was a mod and being like, oh, this is pretty cool, and then they came out with the game, and I remember getting really mad at Bohemia for that. I remember when they had some of their devs who got arrested and were in prison for a while because they were taking pictures. And then the ArmA 3 community is one of the, like, gave a whole bunch of money to the families. The ArmA 3 community came out and was like, hey, let's help them out. And then they get out of prison, and then Bohemia's like, okay, we're going to send them to work on DayZ now, guys. Like, and these are some of their best developers. And I remember the community was pissed. Yeah, because they're chasing that money. Gotta chase that money. Yeah, and I think Aristocrat, that comes from the ArmA 3 engine. Like in ArmA 3, you used to be able to move any building in ArmA 3 anywhere you wanted. So like it used to be that I could, all these structures around me, I could teleport them anywhere I wanted in the map. They're just objects. You can't do that anymore because for PvP servers, when you're shooting ArmA, the bullets are completely client-side. That's why ArmA's shooting feels really, even if you have like a lot of lag, ArmA 3's shooting feels very responsive, and that's because every time you fire a bullet, except for grenades and tubes and missiles, they are all handled client-side. And so what people were doing and hacking is they were teleporting the buildings away and then just shooting people since the hit registry was client-side. And so, and same with vehicles and all that are all client-side. And so which creates, yeah, interesting hacking issues. But it's really interesting. And I don't know what the new engine's capable of besides the rumors. And the rumors I've heard is that you should have engine level access, which I highly doubt Bohemia would do that. Yes. So I highly doubt that Bohemia would give you access to engine level. What I mean by engine level is like being able to change anything in the game completely. If I really didn't like this one thing, I can go in there and actually completely change it. I can make it a whole new game. I can completely wipe the game out and make it a whole new, like I could just have access to the engine. I don't think they're going to do that because that essentially gives modders access to the engine and they can make their own games within the engine that they worked hard on. And so I think it's going to be the same thing where they're going to have a coding language for modders or people to access that has limited interaction with the engine. That's like a step in between. So, and that way I think, that's why I'm thinking they might actually bring back or use SQF again. Oh, close the hatch. Okay. So I'm gonna have to wait for, just 2 places will be enough. Let's get these 2 places, at least 2 trade cargo resources, and we'll test this. Oh, Astrocat. I thought it was Aristocat. Oh, this text is so small on my screen. Yeah, that's why I don't think they would. The new I think the old Bohemia would have been okay with people making their own games in the ArmA 4 engine, but I don't think the new Bohemia that it's turned into would allow you to do that. That's like, maybe they will. That feels like really risky, because that means someone could just take your engine, essentially do whatever they want with it, and they may not get paid for all that. Yeah, exactly. It's their cow. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, and I mean, the frustration of why, I mean, having engine level access would be amazing. Like Unity or something like that. That's engine level access. You can code from the ground up the AI you want and all that. The nice thing about ArmA 3 right now, these guys really took a beating. Wow. The nice thing about ArmA 3 is that, you know, I don't have to do the modeling. I don't have to do all the basic maps, like all this UI stuff, you know, the shooting, the movement, all that stuff. I don't have to code. If I were to go to like Unity, because some people have asked me, why don't you make your own game? Well, I was interested in that, but imagine all the work that goes into like a UI system, a movement system, all the modeling for all the guns and weapons, and that's just hoof. But if I can just do what I want to in ArmA 3, then I'm happy. So that's why I'm willing to work with it. I think they will add the editor. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what they did for ArmA 3. When ArmA 3 came out, it was such a base game, the modders had to save it. Yeah, 3 editor and Zeus. And you see, that's like, there's a good chance the ArmA 4 comes out and they don't have they're going to have a 3D editor, but they might not have Zeus. They might not have Arsenal. They might not have all these things that we've grown really used to. And they're going to probably rely on modders to fix that. I would not be surprised. Okay, anyway. Let's see, this group isn't requesting. Oh no, they did get reinforcements. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this code here again. Let me make sure we're getting the right data. We are. Okay. So I'm going to run this. Each. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to run this code and let's see what the error message is. No, I don't think so. Astrocat. I really don't think that Bohemia would include stuff like that in there. Oops. Ace has a lot of good stuff in it. I think there might be some features from it, but I mean, the problem is we don't know what they're doing with ArmA 4. So with this new Bohemia, are they trying to make the game more accessible to a wider audience to try to sell more copies? Or what are they doing? Are they trying to go more into the milsim? What's their strategy? Because that tells us a lot. Like, I don't really care about a graphics update. I don't really care about like all the engine stuff. The movement's nice, a lot of that's nice, but I want tangible, like more in-depth and more realistic feeling combat, and really realistic and more engaging. I don't want Call of Duty or Warfare, that kind of stuff, but it wouldn't be bad to have combat feel a lot more alive, and the units feel a lot more alive, and the combat system feel a lot more alive. But it depends on what they're trying to go for. You know, I would not be surprised in the slightest if ArmA 4 comes out and they're like, they have ArmA 4, but then the other half of the game is a battle royale. Like, that wouldn't surprise me from Bohemia, I'm going to be honest. Yes, yeah. And there's some cool things that Bohemia has added. Like recently, they made it a lot easier for you to have it from, say you're in a server. They have made it a lot easier for you to connect to a different server within a server. And so you could have silly things like you have Tanoa and then you have an airport you go to and you have a different server set up and then, you know, you fly, quote unquote, to Altus and it just automatically connects you to the server and you load in. So in that way you could do some pretty cool like multi-server open world stuff because you can transfer data back and forth between servers in a database. And so that that's something I've always been really curious and wanting to do. Yeah, I think what makes ArmA 3 so appealing, at least for me, is the open worldness and the combined arms aspect that they do. Is it just feels a lot more tactical. It's not like it's not a Twitch shooter, which appeals to me. All right, let's try this code and see what happens. Oh. What do we get here? Move cached. Okay. We have an error. Move to. Undefined variable expression move to. So move to is the get pause. So is that in the FSM? So let's did it create the unit? It did create the unit. There's Marshall there. Okay. There's a squad here. They didn't finish fighting. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. AstroCat. Yeah. And Tyler says agreed. Yeah. I think that's what makes it very successful is the modding. Without a modding community, this game would have been dead a long time ago. Oh yeah, hands down. I think they know that too, and I think they've abused that, obviously, to a certain extent. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So I can't edit the FSM, but maybe I can debug without having to restart the mission. So let's see if we can recompile this and do system chat format. Move cache. Let's go in functions. Move cached. Compile. Move to is any. Another error pops up there, but I don't. Oh. What is it passing through? Why is it not passing through? So let's go into here. Let's take a look. Resource orders. Oh. No, wait a second. We set the variable right here. And then we have it do AI orders because that is X. So then we have it set the variable to the logic. Transport vehicle. Am I pulling that correctly? Oh. I'm an idiot. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, and that's when it comes to like sandbox things or simulator type things, you always expect terrible frame rate to some extent. Yeah. Yeah, I'd even argue like if you make your own game like on Unity, you would be hard pressed to make a game like ArmA and make it run well. ArmA is very unique. My biggest worry, which I think has been the community's biggest worry for a long time, is that they start to try to make it appeal to I mean, I'll just be honest. Usually, like the younger kids, younger generations, like more battle royale style gameplay, more quicker, fast paced, because maybe they want it to sell more. I don't want to say Bohemia is sold out completely, but when I look at Bohemia, I see lately they're turning more into a publisher, and I see them less and less interested to make ArmA. Because I think a lot of people who there originally that worked on ArmA 3, ArmA 2, ArmA 1, they're not there anymore. They're gone. And so, as my assumption, I haven't actually sat down and looked. So a lot of them probably don't even really know what ArmA is really about or really care. So I think that makes it hard to make the next version. Okay, so now we're over here at least. This is a different spot. And so these guys are going to be moving. The barracks already, supply cache. Let's see if they can cap this. Maybe this town doesn't get capped because there's 2 circles inside of it. Oh, I don't know. We'll have to see. Yes. VBS has a world simulation, which is cool. I really wish VBS would just be publicly available. It's always a graphics generation behind ArmA, but it has so many mechanics. I know, that would be really cool. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wouldn't mind them cutting out a lot of things they don't want people to use. Yeah, VBS has, and if I could get my hands on VBS and actually make stuff for that, that would be amazing. The stuff you could do. And it has terrain movement, so like instead of building trenches, like by having something spawn from the ground, you can actually dig into the ground. That stuff is cool. Yeah, J. Crow left. He was creator director for... Yeah. So I don't know. I just get very... When there's a lot of change like that... I mean, look at Blizzard, and I think I went this rant before, but a lot of my favorite companies, when there's a huge change in leadership, is definitely usually impacted negatively. The squad's dead. Okay. Man, these Blue Force squads tear these guys apart. Jeez. So one thing that you may not know when you're watching this, these squads that are virtualized, these are all virtual squads right now, and they're all sped up, of course, for testing. But one thing you may not know is that the makeup of the group, this isn't just rolling dice. This is actually a pretty complex simulation of what it would be like, as close as you can if they were to spawn in. So a unit's weapon, their ammo types, their armor, the amount of people, their terrain that they're on. So if they're in a wooded area versus an open area, if there's any structures nearby, all those things play a role into how the combat goes. Vehicles, things like that, really do matter quite a bit. So the vehicle-on-vehicle combat's pretty complicated as well. It's complicated, but it's very efficient in how it runs. So it is based off a bunch of numbers, obviously, and any random chance to some extent. But it's a pretty in-depth system. It's not just rolling a dice and see who dies, which is good because I want it just to make sense. So let's see. Oh, I need to give us money. This is going a bit slower because I haven't really coded Dissension in a while, and getting back to it is definitely takes a minute. Auto resolve button. Oh my god! Never use the auto resolve button. Okay, and I challenge anyone to go back and play Rome 1 and play that and tell me that's not more fun or more engaging. It's not perfect, but it's not more fun or engaging than Rome 2. It has a lot more interesting mechanics in combat, in my opinion. And I feel like the AI is sometimes even better. I loved Rome 1. I played that to death. It has its issues, but it is definitely not the worst game in the world. Yay, okay, yeah, they got a supply cache in the town here now. So I just gotta wait for this to get 2 resources. I think it takes about 2 minutes, then we can see if I can get a vehicle to go across from both. Okay, these guys defeated, these enemies, they're hurt. Now are they gonna, oh, they're waiting reinforcements. So here comes reinforcements. It's a rifleman and grenadier are moving to reinforce this group here. So this group is sitting and waiting now. Reinforcements to get there. I've been waiting for a game where you play as Colonel General for a while. Yeah, I just want a good RTS to come out. So I'm a huge StarCraft 2 fan. I really enjoy StarCraft 2. It's probably still one of my top favorite games, even though I don't like Blizzard anymore. Is that trade cargo time 1 times 1? Come on, reinforcements, go! If we teleport there, there's nothing there. I have yet to have the, there is no physical unit spawning in. After I get the logistics system done, then I'm going to have units actually start physically spawning in. And that's when this game will get testable. Because then I can actually have structures, and units spawning in, and actual battles happening around the player. And that's when it gets actually enjoyable. Okay, so they've been reinforced. Their strength is back to 100%. And now they're moving. Perfect. The game is played on the map. Yeah. That would be interesting, yeah. You know, that's one thing that interested me about ArmA back in the day was when they made the high command module, you could almost play it on the map. There was a couple mods that did that. There's an ArmA 3 Hearts of Iron 4 mod. That would be pretty cool. I think I have a testing script that I had where you can spawn units and select and tell them to move around. Okay, so where are they going now? Oh, wow. There's an issue. But there they go. They're on a trip. Where are they going? All the way around to that town, because that technically is the closest town. Yeah, that's something to fix. So they're like, that's the closest town. Obviously, we're going to go there. So I need to add like a check to go if there's water in between. To either not go there or to just have it be like a boat and just go over there. Alright, anyway, we have enough. So let's give this a try. Okay. Incoming message. No air messages right off the bat. We have cargo constructed. So we can see, yep, so he's spawned in here. He's moving. This is an AMV-7 Marshal. He's going to move much faster because he's a vehicle. And he's being told to move. And he's getting, oh yay! Alright! Look at him go! He's a marshal right now just because that's what I threw in there, because you get to tell what units you want it to use, but... what do you think? Oh, you've played Rome 1 as well. Yes. Yeah, I think you're right, Esther Cat. I didn't measure the path they would need to take once it gets done. I think I could actually do that now. They're about to cross each other, so this guy... There he goes. Okay. So what we need to do, because now he's going to error out. What is he going to do now? Because I don't have any extra code set up. I wonder if the AI is going to kick in, and if he's just going to become a normal unit now. So what should happen is once he delivers his cargo back to the base, so he's going to an actual structure here, the heavy factory, to deliver the cargo. And now what I'm curious about is if he's going to just go back to being a normal unit and now go on the offensive, or if he's just going to air out and sit there. I think he's probably just going to sit there. Dissension done. Not quite, Tyler. I mean, this is big because this was a pain in the butt. But now I can actually start coding in some more stuff. I'm moving forward. Logistics stuff was a pain in the butt. And what you can have is, like, once you have like a lot of, like, you know, imagine this is all captured here, but blue 4, you know, late game, mid game. Maybe that's still early game technically, but you could be, as a player, you could fly in and just set up and be looking for these trucks and ambushing them to grab supplies or just to hurt the enemy force. And so, like, that's why these are in here. So it makes the world feel a lot more alive. So he got there, and he's got no objective currently, and he's going to air out because, yeah, I didn't set that up, so now I have to do the rest of it. So that's a huge hurdle. The rest of it is easy. Yes, that's why it's virtual, Tyler. Will amphibious assaults be added? Yeah, so with the virtual system, you can do amphibious assaults a lot more effectively. And what I mean by that, even say if there's a player here in this town, and you want to have them attack through this way, you could technically go, okay, there's a player here, let's make this the spawn point, and we're just going to have the boats spawn in and move in that direction. And then you'd have to kind of help them out because this terrain is just not great. So by that I mean if you go up here, all these are spawning in because I'm close, but if you go up here, you can see this is terrible. AI don't know how to drive through this because AI don't know how to drive boats. They're awful. So you'd have to essentially, the landing would have to be scripted. So I have this code that essentially takes over the boat, and you just point it in a direction, you tell it where you want it to land, and you just have it go. And then just have it once they reach their spot, the AI hop out. And so that would be very feasible to do. And also be kind of cool to see. There's a whole bunch of boats, you know, coming in like that. Would have actually been really cool to see. So, and it's stuff that you can do and keep a lot of it virtualized. The squad's still going. Yeah, so that's the whole point of this, Tyler, would be that you, let's spawn in one more time. Let me kill this guy there. That would be the whole point of it, is once you spawn them in, is your players would go and be able to raid them, destroy them, whatever it is. And because the Dissension, what I didn't like about it before, there wasn't like so much going on in the captured territories, so outside of the towns, I want there to be action, but more you can cut more supplies off. And I'm thinking like an RTS, so like think of Total War or anything, is you want to have everything on the map should be meaningful, and I believe in a CTI mission. So just because this road here isn't part of a town doesn't mean that it should be useless necessarily. So maybe there's a units path through there. Maybe there's a lot of supply trucks going back and forth. Maybe it is valuable for you to sit up here and wait 20 minutes for something to show up so you can blow it up. Stuff like that can be very valuable. Or maybe, you know, now I can start doing things where AI can, with a virtual system, you can have a lot more AI, you know, AI quote unquote on the map at a time without destroying everything. So I can have like an AI Overwatch team here in this mountain. Or maybe you can have AI vehicles set up here for anti-air, and you can actually start having them virtually spawned in. And have them only spawn in, not even when their friendlies nearby, but only have them spawn in when the enemies are coming near. And so you can save a lot of frame rate that way in ArmA. And you just would see a bunch of these flags on the map as a player. Like, oh yeah, look at all these, blue 4, enforcements here. And this squad, I'm curious, this squad is, oh, they already engaged a squad on their way over. They destroyed him. I think resistance is a little too weak right now. You can see this guy is now going to this town here. So that's perfect. And the objective says no objective. I need to fix that. So let's fix that. You'll probably tell I'm a little excited that that worked, because that was a pain in my butt. So it says no objective, but I think I want to change that to yeah, it's right here. So we need this command. Resource vehicle. This group set 5 is going to be my brain always doesn't know. Okay. Oops. What did I just do? Yeah, perfect. To KB Liberation. I have not really played KB Liberation before. KP Liberation. Yeah, yeah. So this version will definitely be a lot more slow. Because what I want to do is, he's going back around, perfect. What I want to do is, in the beginning, it'll be a lot more slow where you're fighting resistance, and resistance won't be as strong. And you can be able to play on either side. So resistance, op 4, blue 4. And each side's going to have a different play style to it. But in the beginning, there's not going to be these huge battles. It's going to slowly ramp up over time as people get more resources and more factories and things built. War crime's the only way to win. Still resources, like regular liberation, still resources. Okay. It'll be I kind of know about Liberation. I honestly don't remember a lot about Liberation, even though I used to play it all the time on number 2. I played a lot of Invade and Annex, and so I don't know much about Liberation to say. Alright, let me finish this code here as well. So we can go ahead and let this loose here, and once one of them, yes. I like that when there's like CSAT independent. It gets so laggy though. Yeah. Stalker series, especially with the college and will mod. In fact, the most of these are unvirtualized. I just want. Yes. It's a little instead of one of the two. That's very right. Okay. Okay, so there's no more waypoints left, and there's no more waypoints left, and that means the resources we have delivered the resources. Okay, so we deliver the resources. Alright, this is where we need to do our lovely favorite friend, which is switch case. I think I have a switch in here, don't I? Yes. Wow, this is a lot. Okay. How does this work again? Yeah, okay. East. East. And then this will do resistance. Okay. It's air assets. Oh. Yeah, that would not make it great. I can't wait to actually start doing the personalities a lot better. So the Commander AI right now is fairly simplistic, just because I wanted to get just the basic game going first. So this is, to give you an understanding where I put all my efforts so far, this FSM here is for AI on the map, group AI. And so this is all the decisions they can make so far, and some of the code with it. And then the commander is just like these three really, and this is like not even done because I've been really focused on getting the map just working. And then I want to start adding in a commanders with more personality. They can move around and do all sorts of crazy things that way. And that's what I'm really excited to do. That's where it gets more interesting, because I love that kind of stuff where we have, again, not necessarily realistic, but commanders that prefer putting IEDs everywhere. Commanders that love using artillery all the time. Like things like that that really make the game different each time you play. Just through that. And I was thinking about how making a leveling system again that was more interactive instead of just special abilities as well, but maybe tying it more to some of the player-based building as well. Because the next thing they need to do is get a player UI actually designed in. Yeah, because you don't need. And that's the, yeah, AstroCat. So my goal with Dissension is why I'm not really doing a lot of player stuff yet. Like it's a lot of virtualization. Why there's no testing of it is because I want the game to be able to play itself. And then I think it's what made ArmA at least one. ArmA 2 started losing it a little bit. ArmA 3 definitely lost it. I think what made ArmA 1 so interesting to a lot of people was that you weren't a hero. You were just a cog in a machine. And I want Dissension to feel like that. Like the map and the AI commanders will go on with or without. They don't care. You're not the leader. You're not in charge. You're just a dude. And you can either help or hurt that. And then your actions will impact the world you're in, the war. But no one really gives a fuck about you. That's the feeling. I want you to spawn in there and be like, wow, this is a whole bunch of battles going on. I'm not the one causing them or the one doing all the actions. You're just a dude. And that's the feeling I want to go for. So I'm really focusing on the AI being able to fight and respond to threats just by themselves. And so it's not really player driven. A dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Irrational. I just have an irrational love for simulating simulations in games when you look at a floor in a corner so you can come later and see the outcome. You would really like some. Yes, I do the same thing with some of the simulation games. So that's what this whole point is. We're just kind of watching it. But first we need to make it so when they deliver resources that we get the money. I don't even remember the variables for this. Where do I define the money? I just don't even remember most of the stuff. What is it? Well, let's look at virtual group here. It's got to be in here. Yep. Here we are. Okay. WER. Alright, let's go back to move cached. This is okay. Extra data that I'm passing through. So we need to calculate the number of resources that the vehicle picks up. Yay! Okay. So every time they get to a point, then they collect the resources from the town, which have already been decided. What's in that lovely FSM that I closed? Just right here. Okay. Current waypoint equals, it's going to be extra data select 0. Current resource point. You're supposed to keep names short, but I hate doing that, so we're not going to do that. So that's going to return a variable or something like that. And then we have the resources that we have, which that and alone is like this. So we're going to do trade resource. Okay. So and do current collected resources. So every time it goes somewhere, it's going to save this, right? So the logic set variable current resource is going to be something like that eventually. Oh, sorry, get variable. I need to get it. This is if it doesn't have it, right? And we'll do 0, 0, 0. Okay. So it starts off with no resources. But then we can set it. I think this is an okay way to do it. Oh no, we can do apply, right? Hold on. Alright, let's use a command I've never used before. I'm sure this will go well. So there's a command called apply, which I think goes through it's a newer one I haven't used. So applies given code to each element of the array and returns the resulting array. The value of the current array element to which the code will be applied is stored in the variable x. Okay. So apply x to the power of x. Okay, seems pretty straightforward. How could I mess this up? He wondered. Okay. Oh, wait a second. The problem is that the thing I'm doing each time it changes. Yeah, no, apply won't work here. Dang, I thought I was gonna be fancy. Space Rangers 2. On low difficulty, government would eventually kill final boss, but on max difficulty, final boss faction would visit you wherever you are. I don't know how this anime is. You guys. So what we're gonna do is just I'll use my good old set command. 1, 2, 3. So is it 0? Owner, then resources, trade resource, and name. So this is going to equal set 0. I think I can do this. Select 0 time or plus resources select 0, which is also multiplicative of the trade resources. Let's just make sure that there is no confusion in how this should be calculated. Kind of like that. And then, actually, let's do that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, counting is fun. I do logic, set variable, disk or resources to back to that. Alright. And I have to remember yeah, that's fine. Sign, yeah, okay. Sorry, just making sure that worked all. Extra data false. Alright. Is that all that I needed for that? So then this will do, every time you visit a place, this will multiply the resources he has. Let's also let's hint this. So we can kind of see. I'll have to come back in here and remove that, but so we can see that, make sure that's being updated appropriately. This is pulling the information appropriately. So he gets it and then keeps adding and adding and adding on top of it, which is great. Yep. And then once we get to the last one, what we want to do is do something similar. Kind of like this. So then it gives the resources to the commanders appropriately. And then we need these vehicles to despawn after that. So here's east, here's resistance. This is one thing I've learned a lot about Dissension, is that I'm coding for 3 sides all at once all the time. So all the functions I make, everything has to be able to work for every side at all times in a very flexible situation or way. Which makes it difficult because sometimes there's uniquenesses between each faction. And ooh, what button did I just hit? So that can make it hard to do that appropriately. Alright. I'm still working on logistics, but I think we're close. So this sets the resources appropriately. And then of course we need to public variable this out to broadcast it out. This is a command to be used lightly, but when you're doing these big missions like this, there's a lot of information that players need to know, and players need to know how much money their side has. And so one thing that you can see is different about Dissension now is I want to communicate as much as I can to the player. I need them to have lots of information and them to know what's actually happening in the world. Watching how in-game NPCs would use human wave doctrine to defeat boss. Conveniently well, a storyline would hint you'd find special artifacts or something. Was amusing. I bet. That's funny. Okay, so I'm just getting tired of staring at this screen. So then, if it's less than that, then we need to. What do I need? How do I get rid of these again? Do we set the damage to 1? Oh, destroyed. Yeah, let's go ahead and Set this to destroyed, so that means we despawn it. Get it out of here. Okay. That should do that, actually. Just fine. Let's give that a test. Oh. Of course, we need to have a message that displays... Do we need to have a message? No, that would get a lot too fast, I think. Yeah, let's not do a message for that. Let's give that a test, though, and let's see. Let's see how this plays out. Oh, that's what I'm forgetting. When they collect the resources from the towns, it needs to subtract from the town, which makes sense, right? So what we're going to do is it's going to be town cache loop. Source tick. Aha. Here we are, this stuff right here. Human wave doctrine. Yeah, there's gonna be there will be a commander who really prefers just sending loads and loads of infantry at your target, yes. And he will do nothing but do that. And I'll make it so you can set up the infantry, the commander types if you really want. It'll be random by default, but you can go in there and set it to how you want. I'll probably add it in that starting admin menu that you see when you load in. So right here, though, we need to get rid of this count here. Get rid of the has cache check. Get rid of that. Trade resources minus those ones. Yep. And unfortunately, that means I have to republic variable this. That should be okay. I don't like doing that, but it doesn't happen every second, so it should be fine. And the set command should be updating it appropriately automatically. Let's see how that works actually. Yeah. You can place the other side eventually. It'll be blue 4. I'm just using blue 4 right now as a, to test the game, but you can do blue 4, CSAT, or resistance. And resistance has a much different play style than in the other ones. So this menu here, in case you guys probably, I don't know if everyone's seen this menu, but what you have here, and I need to label this a lot better. But on the left, these are all the units that Dissension picks up. So this supports mods, and so it goes, okay, these are all the units that you have that the game has detected. I'm just running vanilla. So here's all the land vehicles, aircraft, watercraft, autonomous things, static weapons, and cargo transports and artillery. Doesn't pick up any of that. It's probably just land vehicles. Let me see. It's not perfect, right? Yep, there's the artillery. It's underneath there. And then on the right is you have to help it. It tries to make its best guess of what things should be. But on the right hand side, you have these unit presets you can load, which I just did there. And you kind of go through and tell it what you want it to consider light infantry, what do you want it to consider advanced infantry, medical infantry, AA infantry, AT infantry, heavy armor. What do you think is heavy armor? What do you think is light armor? What do you think are transport vehicles? So here's some transport vics. Then helicraft, aircraft, boats, UGVs, UAVs, static AT, static A, spec ops. And so like say I want to add a boat into here, I can go to watercraft and click that button, and now the AI commander will consider using these as their spawns. And here's the cargo transports that I have for the just testing we're doing right now. There's also spec op troops, which will be really hard to kill. Here's artillery. And so you can kind of come through here and take the time to define what you want the units to be. Rhino MGS Worst Tank. I like the Rhino. It looks cool. But I haven't really used it that much. It reminds me of a tank hunter. It's supposed to be a lot more mobile, right? But yeah. So then you hit continue. And the game loads. For a sec. Oh, I could see that. Those tanks are so strong. We need a general that would LARP Soviet tank wave, IVV, wave infantry, wave thingy, while investing half the resources into artillery and anti-air. That would be really cool. Okay. I hate this spawn. I need to change up the spawning spots. So right now it picks a corner of the map to spawn in. One of the 4 corners. I kind of want it to pick somewhere like also the sides, like this. So that way the way it works right now is if I'm here, then that means that the enemies are going to be over here, because it tries to keep them far apart in the beginning, or up for. And if you're playing as resistance, your goal is, well, you're going to pretty much just always lose unless you're really good, but your goal is to kill blue 4 and up 4. But resistance doesn't, they still build structures and things, but they won't ever get great units like you do. Yeah, the lose condition is that you lose, the HQ gets killed. The HQ goes away. And that'd probably be a configurable thing, so the HQ gets killed or you lose all your territory. But the HQ can always move around. So the HQ is just like on the old CAT or CTIs is always right now this is a temporary structure here, but is always the big cojones, and once they die you lose. And the HQ can obviously move around. It can't right now, but it'll be able to move around to the safest location, and it'll be heavily guarded with a lot of virtual units, AAT, all that kind of stuff. And to destroy buildings, I'm not quite sure how to do it yet. If it's going to be just satchels or if it's going to be to blow something up, not quite sure. Man, these blue 4 squads are destroying these resistance. Resistance, I think I made them too weak. I'm going to look at that while we wait for these guys to capture stuff, and I'm going to give blue 4 lots of money. Boop. And I think I made them too weak. So where's my simulate combat thing here? Here we are. The script. Yes, I do. I think I nerfed them a little too hard. I wanted to simulate resistance troops who typically not being as well trained as Op 4 Blue 4, so I give them a little bit of a debuff just right off the bat. and I should probably think it's too strong. So essentially what I do is I reduce their ability to use cover when it's calculating it. This script was a lot of fun to make because I got to go through, like, if the guys in the advanced infantry they're better at using cover, better armor, they typically have better weapons that do more damage. And I even liked it for vehicles. It's not even vehicles don't even get killed in one shot. You know, there's a chance that they get hurt or disabled or something like that, even in virtual. And so it's good. They're fighting this guy. Assistant rifleman is left. They're guarding and they're dead. These guys said, yeah, I've not taken a hit. Jeez. Yeah, I think I do need to slow down the battles. Right now they're definitely sped up for the sake of testing. You say we can easily turn it into a Warhammer 40k versus... Yes, you could. As long as you fill all those necessary roles, like eventually when it's made, the downside to it, you have to have something in the artillery slot. You have to have something in the aircraft, something in the watercraft slot. Otherwise it's going to cause errors. These guys just swam across that channel. Because they are just badasses. Okay, so the logistics stuff should kick in on their own. Yep, there it is. So there's a cargo vehicle, and holy cow, that thing is cruising. Okay. Now what is it doing? I collected the resources. And it returned. It should have got deleted. Right? It didn't get deleted. But there should be something we can fix in game. So why? Because it's saying that our undefined first point data, yeah. Wait, what? Line 122. Oh. Maybe this needs to be moved up a little bit. Maybe this needs to be ran first, so if it's just empty. When it's destroyed, yeah, it should be going here and ending it. Okay. Let's try that one more time. This song sounds awfully familiar. Sorry, I can't play that. Boo doo 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 doo. Are those Soviet assets? You mean really nice ways? You're having way too much fun with this, sir. I'm getting hungry for dinner. So let me see if I can go a little bit more in this, and I'll probably stop and get some dinner. So this should just, yeah, do exactly what we need. No, this shouldn't be. I'm trying to think how this should go. This music's too loud now. So every time I go, it deletes it. So no, this shouldn't be right here. Should have done it. Let's put it down here. Because every time they get there, and then it checks, and this runs out once they get there. Right? Yes. Once they get there, it checks. If the count is less than 1, to a 0, I'll just do count is equal to 0. Let's do system check. Let's do hint format extra data, and we'll do a count of that extra data. And if it's 0, it should switch depending on the side, which is west. It'll go here, do all this, and then oh, that was my problem. This is inside the wrong space. Look at that. Streaming to YouTube helps. It's because you talk to yourself. What if I'm just talking to myself and there really is no one watching me? I've just finally gone insane from ArmA. It's probably likely. It's probably it. Okay. I don't know, something is in the kitchen and it smells really good right now. Oh, now my dog is begging. Like, hey buddy, how you doing? What are you doing? Are you begging? You have to wait to eat. You have a full hour before you get fed. Yep. Okay. Let's see, while we wait for our units to take some territory. I don't know what kind of scripts I have that I could mess around with. Do. Oh. Save positions. Oh, that's right. That's something I found I wanted to test with. What do I do now? You just start making your own stuff. That's what you do. Find target weight. Okay. Oops. Where are we at here? One. Okay. It's going. Let's teleport here and see if we can. Should be. Oh, yep. There are the fake gun gun sounds. Huh, sometimes you can see the tracer rounds, but I don't know if they actually have units with tracers in their squad. Okay, we're at 2. Okay. That's a bug that's got to be fixed for sure. They are still firing. So they're at 3. We're almost there. What's this called water for? Oh, this, yes. Oh, I remember this. This was trying to find water pathing through water. Oh boy, yeah. Let's go. Definitely not a script I want to look at right now. That was a nightmare. Hydro 1. Oh, weird. So many scripts in here that I have not. I don't remember looking at. Monster hunt, worm, grab, spook. Okay. Oh, he spawned. Alright. Nope, this is the reinforcements. But they should be spawning sometime soon. Strategic objects placed or generated. They will be. Right now, no. But the AI commanders will set up towers and things to make the world feel a lot more alive to do that. Like radio towers, communication towers, those types of things. AA fortifications. So I have a pretty nice... Oh, there we go. It worked this time. Yep. They delivered resources. And... Oh. Yep, it worked. Alright, now we got a working logistics system. I'm going to go ahead and still cheat to give the commander more money. So I can speed this up here. So this will work with any map, as long as it's big enough. So I'll show you what the map looks like when we actually get to it. But this will work with any map as long as it's big enough. You need to have... Oh, what is this? You need to have at least some form of... What are these guys saying? Who are you? Some form of, towns, right? Oh, it's gone now. Okay, that was just a bug on my end. So these guys are moving to cap this town. There's no structures left to destroy. So as long as there's enough towns and the map is big enough, this will probably work. If it's like 4 towns or the map is poorly configured or coded, it won't work. So it has to be a properly configured map, but other than that it should work. And by that I mean like towns have to be marked as actual towns. Capitals marked as capitals and those types of things. So the way this calculates, like, see this is a bigger circle here, is this actually is an average function that I created depending on the number of structures. So that's why this right over here, this circle is so massive down here and actually bigger than the capital. And Georgetown isn't even in here because of the way it works, but it's because there's so many structures and an airfield here and there's also this fortress ruins all within each other. This is all generated on the fly. Like this is all just, I did not go down and put down markers, which I will show you. Wait, I thought I gave the commander loads of money. Did I not do that? I thought I did that. Oh, I did. Never mind. I just want to see the transportation one more time, and I think I can even speed this up. I'm going to... Can I speed this up? I think I can. Oh, I gotta excuse this. Okay. I just gave us these towns a bunch of trade cargo resources ready. And so, hopefully within 60 seconds or less, we'll have another trade vehicle going out. These guys are doing the same thing again, I think. Yeah, they're going all the way around. So the way this works as well, in case you haven't seen it, is when you zoom out, you can look at the towns themselves and get info about them. So I can hover over this, you can see this is how much manpower it gives, steel, fuel, and income. Its defensive strength, trade cargo, and structures that are located in the town. And as you zoom in, you can kind of see, then it flips to the second view, which shows you actual structures. The town info goes away, but now I can actually highlight individual structures, and then highlight units as well. Which I think you can do at almost any view, but not when they're in towns. So it's kind of a multi-layered info system. This is all part about making the game very clear as to what is going on. Where is our friend? Come on, spawn him in. 15 minutes into the launch, I'll have to watch that. I'll go get food. There they are. Okay, here's the marshal. So they're going to go to this town first, then go to this town, and then come back here to deliver the supplies. And they should be moving much faster because they are it's a actual Vic. Vehicles move much faster than just infantry squads. And so the way this works is you have one vehicle for these 3 towns, but it goes one vehicle per 5 towns. So one vehicle could handle like these 5 here. And then it'd have to be like another vehicle that goes from here to like these ones over here. So you can get some really cool convoys going. Does it evaluate vehicles? How would it evaluate a nuke launcher? A nuke launcher. You'd have to help it classify it, but it'd probably artillery. Yeah, it's probably not going to support that very well in terms of it launching a nuke, unless it's spawned in physically. But it sounds like that was a... I think it was an ArmA 2 asset. If I remember right, if I know what you're talking about. Global thermonuclear war. That would be kind of a cool thing to add, like an option to add nukes in, like tactical nukes, like smaller ones. Not like massive ones that destroy the whole map, but like just smaller nukes. See what the AI do with it. It just completely destroys the town, everything. It's just the town gets wiped off the map, it's just gone. Okay, he got to his first location. He's got 2 more places to drive to, so I think we saw that working, so... GB24 A's and P's, yeah, probably that. That would be... Yeah, airstrikes and things like that would be pretty great to see. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. Yeah, player just gets nuked out of nowhere. Probably wouldn't be the best experience, yeah, for players. Maybe to watch would be fun, but what is this fog? Come on, drive! So eventually, for players, I'm thinking... Yeah, I'm thinking for players to have these squads, these vehicles we spawned in if you're close, driving. And then these guys don't really spawn in everyone if you're nearby unless you're an enemy, and then they spawn in fully. So the next thing to do with this is I'm going to kind of tweak and patch up the AI for the virtual AI navigating around. And then I want to see if they can kind of wage war against each other. So I just would let this run. I should just stream a map. Let this run, just streaming a map the whole time. But of just watching, I want to be able, Blue 4 to be able to fight Op 4 and resistance fighting back and things like that, without the player ever being involved first, before I even get any player mechanics, like spawning units physically in. I definitely need them to be able to fight each other just by themselves. So that means being able to get, without me giving them money, being able to do transports, being able to launch aircraft, all those types of things, and use them effectively. Which isn't going to be that hard, actually. That's going to be the fun stuff. Resistance is just getting rolled over. Wow. I was an officer and a grenadier and a rifleman light in this squad in here. Maybe I should give them more units, actually. Resistance should probably get more units in these towns in the beginning. Oh, did he break contact? He's still moving. Oh man, there's another vehicle spawned. Did I like spawn it? Oh, that's fine. Yeah, it's taking the trade cargo down. Then you have 2 supply trucks going around right now. Obviously this is too many too fast, but because we're hitting lots of trade supplies, so see now you're kind of seeing there's like a trade network going here of these dudes, because there's so much trade cargo up here. He's just like, okay, let's go get it. That's perfect. Now this guy's waiting reinforcements, because are they still fighting? No, they killed them. Okay. So they're waiting reinforcements now. So the map, you can see, is starting to get a little busy, even with those basic things. And that's what I want. The world feels a lot more alive, because now we have 2 trade vehicles, or cargo, logistics vehicles traveling around. We have this squad moving to reinforce this squad, which is perfect. And these guys are holding up and waiting until they move. These towns are have structures in them. Actually, they all are fully kitted out now. I mean, tactical nuke with a low chance of success could be run a perk for a general. Long cooldown, a low chance of success could be run a perk for a general. I think I would do something like, if you're a player, unless you were like super close to the center, it wouldn't kill you, but everything around you would die. Or like really just hurt you. And then all the AI and structures get blown up. Yeah, I mean, it could be a perk. I could see using that in a more of a gameplay perspective, where it wouldn't completely wipe out a town, but it would nuke the town and all the structures go away. Like all the commander-made structures, like the supply cache, barracks, light factory, heavy, all that stuff just gets blown up. Any defenses in there get blown up. Yeah, that would not be. I mean, that would be realistic. That would get used. I could see it in an actual war. Let's make it very long cooldown and very expensive to use. And it's more to use to break stalemates, maybe like really highly defended towns. This is cool looking. Okay. I just want to see, this guy's almost made it back. Oh my gosh. These marshals are a little slow, huh? Come on, go. You're almost made it back. And so, once they get back, that's why it does take a while. That's when all those supplies get delivered. So we can test this right now by looking at the... See, they're not getting any more money. This guy's about to make it back. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You're almost there. Yep, okay. And so now if I system chat this. Yep, yeah, that went up. Okay, I was like, did that go up? It did go up. So then the resources went up, which is perfect. Okay, that is working beautifully. Alright, Astrocat, you enjoy that. I think that I'm going to get some dinner myself. I'm really happy about this. And then I'm going to be kind of tweaking this more and more. I don't think I'm going to leave the stream going because I'm probably just going to enjoy the rest of my night. So she says, hello! What are you doing? I'm just about to go get dinner. Oh, I just saw your, I didn't see your text about that. Is there any ferry system to travel to different islands? Not yet, but I'm going to be making one. Yeah, so I'm using Tanoa as a test bed because Tanoa has probably the most difficult terrain for AI to navigate. At least vanilla-wise, at the very least, because you have bridges, you have lots of islands, and you have some islands like this one that are completely just isolated. I hope you're doing well. What is this error that we just saw? You guys are moving now. Okay. Weird. Something broke there. These marshals are all moving. This is cool. Okay. With aimbot. That would be funny. Yeah. So anyway, so I was reading that. Anyway, the AI are going to have ways to travel across the water, and that will definitely be essentially virtualized. They'll be simulated. It's not going to be AI driving themselves, especially AI can't drive boats at all, and so essentially getting them to, like, say if they want to launch an attack over water through here, it would have to be like simulated where I have like a line where they start and then boats just get moved in a direction essentially, and that's how that would work. So that's capping. So I'm gonna have to like actually test some of these things later. I don't know why that errored out, but we'll still take a look at that. One OP unit with like, and create ports. Yeah, okay, creating ports would be really cool. So like, they can just kind of do a search for towns that have water around the outside, and if they find water, then they can put down a port. It could be like a new structure, like a port, like on the beach or something, and then that's where boats can spawn. And then the boats can kind of, maybe in a line, reach out and try to, yeah, launch boat assaults from places. So, lots, yeah, they took the town. When you virtualize a lot of stuff, you can do some pretty cool things. So, I am looking forward to that for sure. But I need to get dinner. I'm hungry. This is, I might work on this some more tonight, but I'm pretty happy with these changes. Or this progress. Now we have an actual logistics system, which means we have an economy going now. Imported mercenaries. That would be kind of cool too. Yeah, I could definitely probably do that. I just realized these guys' objective isn't changing. It's objective, no objective. That needs to be fixed. Let's take a quick look at that. So if you get here, that should be changing it to... Oh, it's not in here. Oh, I just saved over the... Oh no, I just saved over it. Oh no. Did I really just do that? Why would I do that? Can I... Ugh. Okay. Maybe I didn't do that right. Maybe I didn't save it? Logistic data. Order RDC, resource vehicle. Yeah, okay. I see. That's something I can fix. That was, I think I just broke something was all, but it should be easy to fix. Let's get this. Oh, and this is going to have to be changed to be... to work with each side. I just realized. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through this and oh man, I just realized. Yeah. Yep. This is gonna have to be modified for each side, and I think we'll get there, but right now we'll worry about that. I totally forgot about that. Russian mercenaries. That would be kind of cool. So you can see on the map, there's nothing on the map. There's a dude, and there's no markers or anything. So everything is generated automatically. So there is no... It's very easy to port to new maps. You just have to do a couple settings and set it up and go. There'll be like units... Just, you know, obviously units to select and play as are needed, but beyond that, you are good to go. So, alright, I'm gonna get me some dinner, and then I appreciate everyone talking and chatting. Now that I'm done with some other projects, I'd like to do this some more often. Everyone's a dude in Russia knows a dude who's in Syria. Ah. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'll have to... I'm thinking about that. That would... Because adding extra groups and flags, I'm trying to think how I'd do that for the players to be able to control that. I think I could probably add like a little tick box to it to mark as mercenary. Alright, thank you guys. I'm going to keep building on this because I'm actually excited to get this done. I know it's frustrating because I don't have anything that's actually playable yet. Again, like I said, that's because it's all about getting the AI going up in full speed and making sure that they are at least working before I get player systems involved. I will have a testable version eventually, where I'm not going to go crazy with all the AI, like get them fully fleshed out, but the testable version we'll have to have some more player systems like, you know, tablet, respawning, you know, actual AI that spawn into fight. So that type of stuff. But alright everyone, I'm going to stop here. Thanks all for watching. Hope you guys come back next time.